All right, RezaieStrong followers. So in this video, we're going to talk about breaking down your goals to increase your success. So I keep having this conversation or hearing this conversation about people who keep putting off projects, putting off goals, personal endeavors because of the magnitude of the goal that they're trying to achieve. And I had to think about this from a perspective of what do I do when I have something like that, like training for a half marathon or running a triathlon or something like that. And inevitably, it's always breaking the bigger goal down into smaller goals and tasks. So the first thing is, what is your overall goal that you're trying to achieve for yourself? Maybe you've already defined this, but sometimes that goal needs a little bit more specificity to it. So be specific about your goal, make it something that's measurable, something that is attainable, that's realistic, and that has some kind of deadline or is time bound. Now, after you've done that and you've established what the goal is that you want to achieve, the next thing is to think about what are some of the sub goals of that overall goal? Like, what are the little things that need to happen to be achieved in order to achieve the overall goal? And then each of those sub goals gets broken down into tasks, things that you can do on a daily basis, maybe within an hour, a couple of hours, something that you can keep doing every day that's going to build toward that overall bigger goal. So here's an example of something I did maybe a year ago, which was actually, this is more than a year ago. This was probably 3 years ago. And that was I wanted to lose 30 pounds in 6 months. And so I was specific about what I wanted to do, and I put a deadline on it for myself. Now, there were 3 different goals that I had to achieve in order to get to that bigger goal. I had to adjust my diet. I had to make sure that I stayed on top of my exercise and that I removed any triggers that would keep me from doing my exercise or from staying on my diet. Now, under the sub goal of diet, the things that I tried to do were remove the things that I knew were not healthy for me. So things like bread, pasta, rice, regular sodas. I started doing intermittent fasting with a 4-hour window to eat and a 20-hour fast every day to kind of help control some of my caloric intake. Nobody has to be that extreme. I'm just giving you an example of what I've done. For exercise, it was kind of mapping out what exactly kind of cardio did I want to do. Was that to go for a 2-mile trail run? Was that for a hike around my house? I had to kind of define what it was I wanted to do. And then strength training was the same thing. What kind of exercises did I want to do? How many reps? How many pounds did I want to get to? And so these were like my kind of little daily tasks to achieve those sub goals. And then the triggers was also huge, which is basically optimizing your environment. So I had to go through and clean out my pantry and my fridge and remove all the things that I didn't want. I started using Tupperware for portion control because once I start eating, I have a hard time stopping. And so with Tupperware, I could actually measure out exactly how much I wanted to eat with each meal. For exercise, one of the problems is the drive to the gym and back, or having to work early morning shifts or overnight shifts. And so I built a gym in my garage so that I no longer had to worry about that 30-minute commute each way to kind of optimize my environment for making sure I was working out. And so you can see how taking that bigger goal of losing 30 pounds in 6 months had those sub goals and then very specific tasks that I was trying to achieve every day. And I didn't do all of these every day, but it was just making sure that I was trying to stay consistent throughout the week. Small daily tasks over time drive larger achievement, right? It's about being consistent and doing it over time, being persistent. If you stick with it and you make it something that is actually achievable and doable, you're more likely to achieve the overall bigger goal. I love this quote from Henry Ford: "Nothing is particularly hard if you divide it into small jobs," which is exactly what I did in my weight loss journey. So there you go, breaking down your goals to increase success. Let me know your thoughts, comments, and questions. Thank you guys for following along. I'm always interested to hear your stories and what you have going on in your life, because we can all learn from each other at the end of the day. And as always, #RezaieStrong.